Hi guys, Hari here, doing another video. I know it's been a little while, I'm sorry about that. There we go, there's the play button. Anyway, basically it was just the holidays, and so there was family coming into town, so I didn't really have the opportunity to play this much Dota as I would have liked to. And then my girlfriend was sick, which of course led to me getting sick, so I've been sick for a little bit. Still recovering slightly from that, so I apologize for any McLoyven-related issues during this video. But yeah, I wanted to get another VOD out as soon as possible that I was capable of doing, so this is basically going to be that. This is actually... God, I cannot speak very well, huh? This is going to be a game that I played 2 days ago, I think? I'm not exactly sure on that one. It's not super relevant. But I did random a Panda, and yeah, I'm going to actually set this to player perspective now, and maybe we can actually get into talking about related things. Yep, so like I said, I random Panda. I'm going to go mid with this Panda. This actually has what my old search thing up in it still, bizarrely enough. And yeah, going to have a little bit of interesting interaction with this bounty hunter, which I'll get to in a second. But anyway, yeah, so random Panda. Panda obviously going mid. Panda doesn't have to be mid, but it's, I would say, preferable. Otherwise, you can do maybe like a Panda aggressive tri-lane, because not because it's good for Panda, because Panda just needs levels, not especially gold, but aggressive tri-lanes you don't expect to get necessarily a ton of gold, and he's very good aggressive hero because he's very difficult to kill. Yet can still output a lot of damage with Clap early on. Here you can see that I have a Stout Shield, 3 branches, and a Tango. Basically, if I was going mid and I didn't get random gold, I would have 3 branches and a Tango. But here I did get a Stout Shield because, well, random gold. I think it's fair to say that it is somewhat a little bit bad of a practice randoming, because you might get used to playing a hero with more starting gold than you should have. In this instance, that's not completely true. It's not like I started by buying a Wraith Band or something, and I get a sneeze. Hold on for 2 seconds. Sorry about that. Like I said, I am just a little bit sick. I guess you guys don't really see the pause, but I do, and it might be a little bit of a break up here. Anyway, as far as what's going on with this bounty hunter... Oh, well, I guess I didn't really finish my train of thought, but my train of thought was saying that, yeah, the downside of... random gold is that you might get used to last hitting or something with more damage than you should have at level 1, but obviously in this instance that's not really the case, since the random gold, well, in this case actually it's just buying me a Stout Shield, but you can kind of just look at it like I'm already 250 gold closer towards getting my bottle, so I'm just really, really good at last hitting, much better than I should actually be. Anyway, this bounty hunter, he's kind of an interesting fellow. I mean, we were kind of willing to set up the lanes in any way that would benefit him. Puck was willing to kind of support bottom with the Sven, and Bounty Hunter could solo top. Because Bounty Hunter really does need to be in a solo lane. But he kept insisting that he mid, not in very complete sentences actually, mostly just me mid, level 6, gank, all in one word. So he does eventually get the idea that he can go top once we typed out invis to him multiple times, and he seemed to like the idea of being invis. But you'll see that this is actually not the last encounter I'm going to have with this Bounty Hunter. But anyway, going to go mid, because we're a good mid player, we don't go to the rune, we block the creeps. Especially important as a melee going mid, although as it turns out, I guess I'm going to be up against Slark, which I guess I would have expected probably to be against Rubik mid, but no. Going to be against Slark, so it wasn't that big of a deal that I blocked. But there is actually a Puck here, so I'm just going to clap and hit him a couple times. There's a possibility, yeah, that if he didn't skill leap level 1, if he was really greedy or something and got his passive at level 1, that we could actually just kill him there with that haste rune, which is why the clap is worth it, even though I'm going to push the creep wave and miss maybe one last hit, which is what happened. But he did skill leap intelligently enough for that, or just waited to skill something until it mattered. Excuse me, burping a little bit there. And so therefore he was just able to get away. But obviously worth taking the chance that he might have done something stupid, and we could get a really easy level 1 first blood. So now he is just going to harass me a little bit with that passive, which is kind of annoying. Panda is certainly stronger than Slark 1v1 mid, so I mean I can bully him a little bit. The problem is that I'm just trying to get to a fast bottle, so I was kind of trying to use Clap there, but I was like, oh, I need to use Clap to harass him because he's hitting me too much, and then I was like, oh, I also need to use Clap to get my bottle. So kind of a little bit of a poor Clap that second time there, but I do have enough for my bottle now, which I will purchase as soon as I get this one last hit, which is basically what I should be doing now. I guess maybe I'm still a little bit distracted by wanting to worry about a few more of these, but yeah, I should just be buying that now, which is what I'm doing, and sending it to myself mid. Should still have it in time for the rune. I'm not actually... Oh yeah, it is a flying courier, thanks to a nice first blood. So yeah, we'll actually be just fine on that one. Although the creep wave is pushed under my tower now, in 15 seconds it should basically be gone. I could use Clap here, but well, I figured I could get enough of these without using it, that it was worth it. But then I kind of just did something really stupid there, where I I should have just gone for the melee creep, obviously. There was really no way I would have gotten to the range in time, since obviously you have to hit a range creep twice. In addition to the towers at level 1, unless your hero like faces void with a calling blade or something. The Slark is up here with the creeps, so I'm actually going to clap just so that he's slowed down a little bit, which means he's going to be taking damage from the creeps and from me. And I checked to see, I thought he was actually running to the rune top, but it turned out that the rune was not top. So I'm actually going to go grab this rune bottom. A little bit poor timing to leave the lane to go get a rune, because I'm going to miss at least a few creeps of experience, but it's probably worth it, especially since I'm going to get a regen rune. Anyway, as far as skill builds go, I am going maxing clap. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is your most important skill early on. Against some heroes, some people would get 1 level of Drunken Haze to use in lane. I think this is usually pretty bad. The only way really I think is ever worth it maybe is against TA, although you're still playing unfavorable odds. I mean, 45% still means that more often than not they should actually hit. So, I don't know, but I mean, I guess it's an unfavorable matchup anyway, so might as well just try something. Here we get Drunken Brawler at level 2, and then stats at level 4. 1 point in Drunken Brawler is optional in some matchups, you don't necessarily even need it, although I think it's usually worth it. Just the 10% evasion is probably going to be slightly more effective HP than 1 more point in stats is going to be. Especially against Amelia, though, you're going to want it, because I'm actually, like I said, going to try to bully him quite a bit, so that means I'm actually going to benefit from both parts of the Drunken Brawler, as you see there, getting a crit. Yeah, I was actually clicking on the curry there to see exactly what he was sending himself. I presume it was a bottle, though, but I'm not actually, I can't actually remember. No, yeah, it is a bottle. But yeah, so like I said, I'm actually going to benefit from the evasion and the crit, because I'm going to be right-clicking him a lot. Basically playing just like this, forcing him not to, or basically keeping him off of the creep wave. I should be doing a little bit better job of trying to deny my own creeps, but I guess I'm just, kind of lazy. Although there, I finally actually do it. And then obviously once all the creeps are dead, I actually have to back off a little bit, but then I can just run back up and clap him. This is why it's really important for me to get boots as quickly as possible, because it allows me to close the distance with him and clap right away. But regardless of whether I have those or not against Amelia, I can, like I said, still bully him very effectively. You see, I'm just always playing on his side of the creep wave. This is pretty safe. Yeah, that was kind of a not very good clap, especially since I'm actually going to give up a denied creep up there, because I can't really walk up since I want to use this regen rune. The reason why I did have to clap there, though, is because I wanted to kill his creep wave quickly so that I could go get the bottom rune. And I'm going to run down there to grab it. Unfortunately, I am not going to actually get it. Instead, the Rubik has taken it. Yeah, and so I'm just going to have to back off now, unfortunately. But I do get my magic wand and my boots now. Magic wand not going to be amazing in lane against Slark, but again, it's just kind of a space thing. I understand I can just drop a GG branch, and it's not going to be that big of a deal since I would only be losing 50 gold, but I figured, well, it's not that big of a deal, I can get the magic wand. Although, right about now, I should have actually sent myself a TP as well. Having a TP on Panda is really important, because, and, well, actually, this is something I'll kind of get into a little bit more later, when I have a chance. Right now, it's much more important talking about last hitting. Now, I did want to finish up with the skill build talk, though. Basically, the 1 point in stats, just because, well, none of your abilities are really that, other abilities, other than your ultimate and your clap, are really that amazing. I mean, Drunken Brawler and Drunken Haze both have their strengths, but both of them are just better as the game progresses. Right now, neither of them really does that much. I mean, Drunken Haze can, but it's just not really worth the mana since you don't have a ton of mana. Especially when you're going solo mid Beastmaster, or Brewmaster, usually you're going to want to get your Blink before you get your Arcane Boots. So, and you're just going to use the bottle to maintain your mana with Clap. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to get Drunken Haze, which you can't really support mana-wise. You can see the Bounty Hunter has actually decided to abandon top, which is interesting because it's not like he's actually pressured up there, and it's coming really close to his tower now, so he'd be able to easily get experience there. I'm kind of asking him right now why he's here, and he just keeps repeating level 6, which I guess is his way of saying he wants to get level 6 from here. But yeah, again, like I said, I mean, the top lane is just pushed to the tower. I don't really know why he couldn't just do that there. But I am going to, you see, hit a couple of these creeps down to half now, and I should just clap, although I see that actually he's just completely backed off the creep wave. So I don't really need to clap, because, well, the problem is I have no vision on the bottom half of the map, so it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to contest a rune that's down there, just like we see that Slark actually went down there. And Slark is very good at rune control, actually, because not only does he have the leap, which is kind of like good for rune control in the sense that Potom is good for rune control, but also he moves very quickly when he's off vision, which makes him very difficult to deal with, or very difficult to beat in a race of rune controlling. So without Slark here, I should just push this lane into the tower. Unfortunately, Slark is going to have ganked bottom, but we should be able to do a little amount of damage to this tower. And you can see, because I was not able to get a rune, I am just going to Bottle Crow. Even though I have full health and mana, just having a full bottle, there's no reason not to do it. If I can just send myself the bottle, might as well. So yeah, in addition to sending myself the bottle, what I should be sending is a TP. Basically, this is what I had wanted to talk about a little bit, is that Panda, I mean, well, I guess what you would call Panda is an initiator, but like, Panda is not very useful at actually initiating at all until he has Blink. Like many Blink initiators or melee strength initiators are. And yeah, you can see I'm actually couriering myself a bottle back now, and I think there's not a TP on it, which is a big mistake. Basically because, so until I have the Blink, it's really just fine to farm on Panda because I can't really force team fights well. The most effective way I can impact a team fight is actually by joining one that's kind of already started or just in progress, and then kind of run in and get a clap off and roll while they're distracted. Because the problem is if I just like move to a side lane, first of all, I mean they most likely have wards, although they don't actually have wards, but in a real game they would. But also, like, if I just start running at people, they're just going to back off. And yeah, I thought the bounty hunter was actually going to maybe do some stuff here, but he's not going to. But yeah, if I just start running at people to try to clap them, they're just going to run away from me. And like, I can pop my ultimate and chase, but I mean, yeah, I'll probably get a stone off and hit someone with it, but they're going to be so far away by then that I'm going to lose literally half my ult time just running at one person that it's not really worth it at all. I really have to have that blink in order to be effective. And here, yeah, we actually see the Slark is doing a little bit more than I expected. I thought I could just stand here and fight him, and I kind of underestimated the amount of mana I would actually lose to that passive. And even with using the wand now, I don't think have enough to use my ultimate. So there was a little bit of a risky situation. Plus, I don't want to have to use my ultimate if he hasn't gone invis yet, because he's just going to run away. I'm not actually sure if I can purge the invis. That would be an interesting question. I'm sure someone can answer that. I didn't actually try doing that even once this game, but he is going to go on this Enchantress here. Enchantress should just be healing herself. Also, Enchantress has 1 point in her passive, which doesn't make a ton of sense, but whatever. And, you know, Puck died somewhere else. But yeah, so basically, I'm just going to keep farming, essentially, until I get my Blink Dagger, and then I can start impacting the game. If you're Panda, not in the mid, as said that you don't have a bottle, I mean, as you can actually get bottle on any lane. Basically, if you don't get a bottle, you should get Arcane Boots, probably before you get your Blink. But since you get a bottle, it's fine to just go straight to the Blink, which is going to let you have an impact kind of a little bit sooner. The Bounty Hunter, I assume, would actually just try to come kill the Slark here. I mean, I understand Bounty Hunter doesn't really counter Slark, and it's not that effective. Or, well, I mean, it's not that easy for Bounty Hunter to get a kill on Slark, because he can just purge the track. But I feel like with our amount of burst damage, we could have actually done something there. But, nah, that wasn't the case. So anyway, yeah, just gonna come back to mid and continue to farm a little bit. Still working on getting that Blink Dagger. Not really a whole lot to say beyond that. I do pick up 1 level of Drunken Haze now. I don't necessarily think that this is that good of timing to have picked it up, but yeah, the last time I played Panda before this, I did a terrible job missing a lot of my claps on people, so I figured having 1 point Drunken Haze to slow them before clapping might actually make me suck a little bit less. Saw that the Venge was trying to gank me, but I'm not really afraid of being ganked by these heroes. The only way I could really get killed by them, well, Ruvik is a possibility. Realistically, it would have to be Drow, although I'm not even sure if Drow actually does. Yeah, she has Skilled Silence, intelligently enough, although she's actually got 4 point Ice Arrows and only 1 point in the Aura, which is a little bit questionable. But yeah, we're going to put up some stats now because I haven't had that up for a while now. You can see that I am actually significantly beating the Slark. Obviously I should be, since I haven't actually really left my lane at all. I've just been farming here. I do unfortunately have a TP now. I see the Slark is actually coming on me. I'm actually getting a little bit impatient to have not used my ultimate, so I think pretty soon here I am going to use a kind of foolish ultimate, just because it's true that the idea you put Panda, the reason you put Panda mid is because you want him to get his ultimate as quickly as possible. The problem is, I mean, if you look at the game, it's just 1 to 3, and as far as I can remember, because I haven't actually been paying that much attention, because God, I just love getting gold, so watching the map, nah. But there haven't been that many fights close to my towers where I could actually just TP, and I haven't had the TP that long either, which is a bit of a mistake on my part. But I actually do see this Enchantress running for her life here, but she actually is just going to back off. I considered TPing there, but I saw that it's a DD Slark. Not to mention Slark is just going to be able to run away if I TP anyway, so it's not really the best hero to try to jump in and counter gank. So I'm just going to continue farming here, and I actually do have my Blink, so as soon as the courier is back in the base, I will send that to myself. A little bit of lag here. I actually see this Slark has DD, and I realized that I could be in quite a bit of trouble here, so I actually just use my wand, my ultimate. And yeah, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. I actually could have just run away after the hold wore off. But I am just going to chase after him here. I could have maybe cycloned him, but I didn't realize I would have that much difficulty chasing him through here. But now I realize it's time to get the hell out of here, especially since there's actually a Venge here now too. I'm going to kind of watch Slark there and see if he tries to come after me. If he does, I won't run in a straight line, but he doesn't. So now I can go back to base, and having completely wasted I haven't used the ultimate in 11 minutes, finally used it in 11 minutes, and do absolutely nothing with it. So that's basically how you play Panda. Anyway, as far as what my skill build should actually be at this point, I think going more points in stats or more points in Drunken Brawler would generally be standard. I think probably stats is just a little bit more standard. Usually you really only want that 1 point Drunken Brawler until a little bit later, and then Drunken Haze even basically later. But Yeah, well, in this case I'm going to do, well, I would say a decent skill build as well. I mean, Drunken Brawler and Stats do essentially the same thing for you, more or less. The idea is both of them are giving you survivability, which was the most important reason for getting either of the things. The reason survivability matters is because it's very important for A, if the opposing team goes on you, to not get killed before they, or get killed before you can get your ult off. Sorry, just a little bit distracted here. I was worried the Slark might try to come do something there, if so I would have thrown the haze on him, but I actually realized I would just be able to get one more last hit on the tower first, so I had nothing to worry about. And I am going to rotate top, hopefully to gank up there. But, yeah, so, they both do essentially the same thing, which is giving you effective HP. Well, one actually gives you HP and the other one gives you evasion. Running up here, we actually do see both of them back off, which indicates that they certainly have wards, which, as we can see from this being a replay and not actual first-person VOD, they do in fact have wards. So I'm just going to head back to mid. This is the other reason, like I said, why I wasn't really ganking that much. And you can see a lot of the fights bottom, basically. Well, there really haven't been any fights top for the most part. But a lot of the fights bottom have been taking place really far away from our tower. So, like, there's a fight now, but unfortunately I TP'd back mid, which is a bit of a mistake. I should probably just run mid, and then I could have actually TP'd to that fight. But I don't have... My ult is down, so it's not that important that I have my TP up to go to side lanes. Although, still, kind of poorly done. But finally, I am actually TPing now. Kind of foolishly, I would say. I am going to blink and clap here. Probably does end up saving the Puck's life, so I guess it's worth it. But then who's going to save my life? Although, the answer to that question is actually the Enchantress. The Enchantress is going to save my life. So she's going to come in there, but I'm just got to grab my Arcane Boots real quick first, because otherwise I just don't have any mana. Now I actually do have enough to try to blink in and get a clap on someone, so I'm going to wait till I'm in range. And then I'm just going to blink in the back here and get a clap on that Venge. Wasn't exactly where I meant to blink to, but should be fine. We still have that Vulture who can tank at least one tower hit for me. I'm going to take a few tower hits. The Slark probably could have jumped on me, but we had a creep wave coming plus 2 more heroes. So, I mean, he wouldn't have killed me, but I would have probably taken a fair amount of damage to the tower. But turns out that that's not actually going to be the case. And I can just back off. Worth noting is that they do have a Rubik on the other team. I want to be really careful not to give him my Panda ultimate, which is generally something I'm going to be doing a good job of. Although, who knows, occasionally I might screw up. We'll see. Foreshadowing. Let's see, I did, I think, get another point in stats now. So yeah, I basically just went with a 1 point in Brawler, 1 point in stats. And... Well, I mean, 1 point in Brawler, 1 point in Haze, and then maxing stats, yeah, that's what I meant. But I guess I'm probably going to be picking up more points in Brawler. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I mean, it's really kind of all a personal by feel thing. Anyway, see there's this Drow mid here. Would really like to go on her, so I'm just going to try to run up with this haste. I could actually just have blinked on her, which is probably what I should have done. But I figured I had haste and I didn't want to waste the mana blinking. But yeah, I should have done that, actually. That would have been a lot better. I don't really know why I didn't. Well, like I said, I didn't want to waste the mana on the blink when I had half mana. But I had enough mana for blink and clap, so it would have been worth it. She wouldn't have actually died anyway, though. Maybe if I used my ult, she would have, but she did have 2 other supports rotating there. So if I'd used my ult, there's a decent chance it might have actually just been wasted again. We can see that she actually does have lifesteal, which is quite early for a Drow to have lifesteal, but I guess it's fine. She just wants to farm the jungle a lot. So I do actually jump in on her with Clap now and decide to use my ultimate, because I thought that someone else would actually be coming mid. I've been asking for help to gank this Drow, because like, the Drow has been alive for a long time, which is not a good thing. But looks like there's actually not going to be any help coming. So I'm trying to do as much as I can with Tour by myself with my ultimate, but as soon as I see Rubik there, I realize, yeah, I gotta get the hell out of here. I couldn't, yeah, and you see I actually just clap there, because I see the Rubik is running after me, and it's unlikely he's going to be able to kill me if he catches me with a telekinesis, but there is a pretty good chance that he could actually get in range to steal my ultimate there, which is why it was so important to just throw down that random clap. So, yeah, 15 minutes, 2 ults wasted, 0 used effectively. You would probably have to ask yourself why I'm making a video of this game. But I don't really cherry pick too much. All I'm trying to look for is games that were actually relatively close. You can see he actually does steal a spell now, although I'm sure he saw me do the clap. But I guess he probably just doesn't have any spells maybe right now, so it's worth stealing clap rather than not having anything, even if clap is one of the least useful things to have Rubik. The only thing it's really going to be good for is just farming lanes, since you can clap and fade bolt and kill an entire wave. At least at this point in the game. Do see that illusion rune bottom, which I'm going to be heading towards. I just wanted to finish off this creep wave first. At this point, I'm just farming for my Aghanims. Aghanims also pretty important to have as early as possible, although, well, it's also just experience. Experience is really important on Panda. I mean, getting to the level 2 ultimate is going to make such a big difference. So I do have this illusion rune, and Bounty Hunter is busy distracting their team top by doing ridiculous things in their jungle, so we're actually going to go try and push this tower bottom. I thought he would actually leave that other creep up there, because then I could have clapped all for him, but I wanted to steal it. Unfortunate. Anyway, I did pick up my 2nd point in Drunken Brawler now, so like I said, I'm going to start leveling that up. I think I have a fair amount of actual HP now that I can start getting more effective HP with evasion. You see I actually send one of my illusions up there. It's because it'll pull the creep wave off the tower, which should make it so that we can take the tower. Unfortunately, Venge does get a nice deny. I know that the tide's coming in for a Ravage. It's actually a really nice silence there by the Buck. Like, I could have blinked out there, but then I would have used all my mana and I couldn't blink it back in, so it was better for me just to keep running. I actually do kind of want to blink on the tide there, but unfortunately my blink gets disrupted. And now I'm going to die. Kind of not very good to fight here without my ultimate, and just poor positioning by us in general. And looks like all three of us are going to die. Will he live? He could have earned himself, and then maybe he would, but no. Swap is going to kill him. I think if he had earned himself, he probably would have lived there, but didn't want to use the urn. Maybe not worth it. Meanwhile, in an interesting turn of events, our Sven is actually just going to die solo to a Drow. That should basically never happen. I understand that it is Drow with max level Frost Arrows, but as soon as you see that she's doing a fair amount of damage to you, well, first of all, you can just Warcry, which means she's not going to deal any damage, and then you can just stun her. And then, you know what, you can even just try to kill her with your ultimate and Mask of Madness, although that's probably not going to happen. Even with drums, I think she's so slow you too much, so you probably just get kited. Anyway, do you see that the puck is already TP'd in here bottom? Unfortunately, he TP'd just a little bit soon, so I didn't actually have a TP on me at the time. I am going to blink after them. Unfortunately, the clap is only actually going to catch the Rubik, but Rubik does go down. So far, it's moderately worth it. I see that they're actually going to go on me, so I guess I'm going to have to use my ultimate here. I should have actually Drunken Haze someone first, but it wouldn't really have been that big of a difference anyway. There was really no way we were going to catch this Lark there, and there's really no way that this Venge is actually going to get away. I'm just going to throw another boulder, and she's going to be dead. And then I'm going to farm creeps with my ultimate, because I love to farm creeps. Meanwhile, though, importantly, the Bounty plus Sven did manage to pick up a kill top on the Drow, which we've kind of been needing rather desperately. And, yeah, we're just going to kind of continue to try to force a little bit of action down here. Unfortunately, they do have a better late game than us. Well, I don't know, it's really tough to say that in general. But I mean, they have at least a better carry for the late game than we do. Drow is much better than Sven. Drow actually is a pretty decent counter to Sven, since she can kite him pretty effectively. So we are going to kind of have to make some stuff happen. You see that I actually blink out there because I don't want to get latched under the tower by the Slark, and I'm just going to back out. Continuing to max Drunken Brawler now, and I guess afterwards I'm going to probably start maxing Drunken Haze, because it does start to get to the point in the game where people are actually right-clicking, at which point Drunken Haze is actually going to be pretty effective in teamfights, even though I'm basically probably never going to use it. It's an easy thing to forget. Well, and that's the other thing with it, it's just tough to use. I'm actually going to blink in here and just going to clap on this guy, and the silence coming out from Puck should be enough to kill him. I think they actually had someone following me, so it was kind of careless of him to get caught in a position like that. Pretty easy kill. So we're actually going to go up on this cliff here, and we see just this Venge coming up. Bounty does manage to get the track off in time, and we do actually get the kill. Hoping maybe that this Rubik would run up as well, too. I'm not going to walk down, just stand on top of the hill, because he can't actually see up here if he doesn't have a ward, which presumably he doesn't have since the Venge just ran up. But he thinks better of it and decides not to run up, so he's not going to die. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, I mean, you can throw Drunken Haze from a distance before blinking in, but you really cannot afford to try to blink in, clap, Drunken Haze, because it's too likely you get stunned or silenced before you can get your ultimate off, which could really cost the fight. So this is just another reason that Drunken Haze isn't the most effective ability. Although it is very effective later on when you can't just rely on your ultimate as Panda. You know, when your ultimate can actually die pretty easily. Since your ultimate doesn't really scale, I mean, obviously the Aghanim scales up to some extent, but doesn't really actually scale. Like, there's no percentages or anything. It's just a big number that you get from the Aghanims, which is hopefully enough to carry it into the late game, but not really enough. You see that I separated one of my illusions up over there, and I'm actually going to send the other one out now. I'm just staying in this little spot here so that I can actually blink and clap on someone. Here I am hoping to bait with this illusion. And we do see them lay down a ward there, so it's probably time to back off. So I'm just going to send my illusion into them and kind of run back away myself. I would like to use my arcane boots at some point here. Haven't talked this long straight for a while. I'm going to take a drink. Anyway, it looks like there is going to be some fighting going on, potentially, so I'm going to blink in and just throw out my ult immediately so that the Ravage isn't actually going to hit me. And then I'm going to start by going on this Rubik. I should have actually cycloned someone else right away, rather than just focusing the Rubik immediately, but I do end up cycloning the Venge. The problem is the Drow has a BKB, and she can basically just turn and fight my Pandalings. I'm just kind of sitting here waiting to throw a boulder at her, but eventually I just throw the boulder at Slark because I don't really have a better target, and then I'm just going to blink out. Really lucky avoidance there on the Drunken Brawler, but I actually am just going to be dead anyway. I could have probably played that a little better there, but I didn't really expect them to proceed up the hill after me. But Sven is actually going to run in here and clean up at least one kill. Well, he gets one, and then the Enchantress gets another. Enchantress actually does have her Urn up right now, so she could use that. Urn has an extremely large range, so it would have, 1400 range. Obviously hit that hero, but didn't actually think to use that, I think. But yeah, kind of, well, no, not kind of poor play by me there. Definitely poor play by me. Not well, it didn't really micro that first Panda. I mean, this is my first opportunity to actually have a decent Panda ultimate and didn't really do a great job with it. I mean, focusing the Rubik first is certainly fine. Rubik is a really strong hero to take out right away because his ability, I mean, he has not low cooldown, but reasonably low cooldown abilities. Plus, obviously, he can steal more abilities, and his aura is just going to make them take less damage in general. So if you can zone or kill him out, zone him out or kill him really quickly, it's pretty effective. Cycloning him, not so effective, because he's probably already used most of his abilities to begin with, and then he's going to come back down, and the Cyclone's just going to buy him, like, cooldown time, essentially. So, yeah. That worked alright. The problem was just that the Drow had BKB, and, well, the Sven, we didn't actually have our right-click source of DPS there, which I guess just means we really can't take 5 versus 3 fights at this point in the game. So I guess we really should have just kind of abandoned the Bounty Hunter when he got caught like that, or when he decided to go in like that. Should have just allowed him to die, and rather than taking a bad fight and giving up a few kills to the opposing team. Anyway, you can see that I have picked up my point booster now. This is pretty standard. The only really other variation that you could, well, there's basically 2 other items that you could have possibly gone before going for booster. You can see the Enchantress is way up there by herself. I'm not really sure why she thinks she can get away with that, but she is going to die. Unfortunately, I am going to try to be a good teammate and help her out, so I actually blink it and clap and throw Drunken Haze on her just to try to get him back away, and then I do actually want to run out here. I didn't realize that I was tracked. I thought that they tracked just the Venge right before they killed her, so I thought I could actually blink into the trees here and just be safe. Unfortunately, like, I blink and I would love to just start by TPing right now, but I cannot TP. And the thing is, being tracked, they know exactly where I am, so there's not really any hope of getting out of here. I could try TPing right when they found me, but I know that the Venge would just stun or swap me, so yeah, not really going to be effective. So yeah, Enchantress just pretty out of position there. But yeah, so as far as what items I could go, I mean, items would be the most common. The other one would be drums. Picking up drums for a bit more mana would be nice. If you went drums, I would say it would be more common to go phase boots, although, no, it would still probably be more common to get arcanes. I think arcanes just going to be better than phase boots. But the idea is the movement speed stacking is reasonable, although not amazing. But we have a Bounty Hunter and a Sven on the team, and I think, well, the Bounty Hunter going Orchid, which is a bit ridiculous. I guess his idea is he wants to be able to kill Slark. But not going to be very effective against the fast BKB Drow, and even if it wasn't a BKB on Drow, it would be a Mant on Drow, which would also make Orchid ineffective. But yeah, the Sven is actually the one with drums, so since Sven has drums, there's really no reason for me to go drums as well. I don't really believe in drum stacking, even though drums are a very cost-effective item for early to mid-game. Obviously, I think they give, what, +9 to all stats, and if you compare it to an Ultra Orb, which gives +10. Anyway, I do want to go in mid here, so I am in TP forward and hope to blink on someone. I blink, but I'm not actually going to catch anyone. Thinking about throwing in Drunken Haze there. But yeah, especially as soon as I get silenced. I mean, I'm still trying to find, like, a straggler support, but as soon as I see them that far away, yeah, it's time to back out. Although I do actually have all 5 here, and I would really like to force a fight with my ultimate and actually do a decent job with my ultimate for once. So there's that. But anyway, so there's drums. The other option would be Vlad's. I mean, both of these are aura items. For those that don't know, Panda, when you're in your ultimate, you're not affected by any items other than Aghanims, obviously, which just strengthens your ultimate, and also auras. Any aura you have is actually carried by your Panda minions. But I am going to blink in here, hit her once, and then clap. Here you can actually see I am just running away, because it's extremely important for me to get my ultimate off, so I don't want to get focused down in the middle of the fight. Fortunately, the Ravage plus Silence are off now, and I can actually go. I should have actually thrown the stun on the Drow, but I'm actually going for the Tide instead. The problem is, this is really just doing absolutely nothing. I mean, going on Tide after he's used his ultimate is basically completely useless. But yeah, just not a very good job once again. The problem is that I know actually that I can't really go on the Drow because she has BKB and because she has lifesteal. If I try going on her, what she's going to do is she's just going to BKB in response to the boulder and then sit there lifestealing and just killing the Fire Panda. And I'm really just not going to do any damage to her. The Tide is obviously even a worse choice because it would be better to take my chances with Drow than to just do absolutely nothing by focusing a hero who provides nothing. Like Tide, you know, before he's Ravaged is actually worth killing. After he's Ravaged, does not. I mean, he doesn't contribute anything to the fight. I'm going to try to clap here and then blink out before I get hit with the Frost Arrow, which doesn't end up happening. Want to throw Drunken Haze on her. Fortunately, the Drunken Haze is actually going to screw me up just about as much as it's going to screw her up here. But I think there's actually just no way for me to deny this. I should have actually just tried hitting it twice, which might have been enough. I'm going to get the clap off just before she manages to BKB, which should be enough for us to kill her, hopefully in return for this tower. I blink up ahead just to make sure that we still have vision, maybe to body block her. We do manage to get the kill along with Sven. I am going to throw the Drunken Haze out again here, but unfortunately the Venge is going to swap the Sven out and come stun me. But Sven is going to be able to finish picking up the Slark and probably go after the Venge as well. And actually, yeah, with Puck here, there's really no way this Venge is getting away. Stun thrown out, but there should be an orb or just a couple more right clicks. This is actually taking a lot longer than it should, which might actually end up saving the Venge. Puck can actually just orb in though and get one more right click, which should be enough, yeah. And they should actually back out now. Sven could actually tread swap right now and throw out a stun. Well, first of all, he used the Mask of Madness when he shouldn't have. But fortunately, the Puck bailed him out by using an ultimate. But yeah, if Sven had tread swapped or just not used the Mask of Madness, he actually would have had enough for a stun there. But works out in the end. I guess Mask of Madness was fine. Still should have just tread swapped to get the stun. But not a big deal. Yeah, so on Panda or items... Oh wait, no, actually, yeah, I'm still kind of dissecting that fight. But yeah, so basically there's just not really any good targets for me to go on other than the Rubik. I'm not exactly sure where the Rubik was in that fight. Like, Rubik is the most obvious target because, like I said, he's good to take out of the fight very quickly, and he's actually someone that I can possibly kill. Because Slark is just going to jump away, plus Slark has BKB now. Drow is just going to BKB. Venge, well, I mean, she can just swap someone. Venge is a decent target, but the problem is Venge doesn't really contribute a whole lot to a fight. She does contribute her aura, which aura stacking with Drow, I guess, is a reasonable reason to get rid of her. And then obviously the Tide is probably just the worst choice ever. So there is that. But I mean, at the same time, right when you come out of your ultimate, it is reasonable to try to at least throw the first stun at just kind of the nearest person to you. Which is what I did there, because, you know, the Tide was the one who just ravaged me. I actually, yeah, thought that the Puck was going to go on this guy here with me. We probably couldn't kill him anyway. I think maybe the Puck has Dust, though, or something, so maybe we could have. Well, Dust obviously not very effective. Maybe Puck had Sentries? Who knows? We're about to find out, though, right? Puck did not have either of those things. Although there was a chance with Silence we could have actually killed him if the Puck had really been sneaky enough. But now I'm probably overstaying my welcome here, and it's time to back out. I do have Clap now, so once again, Rubik did not manage to steal my ultimate yet. And I am at 1700 gold, so I'm getting pretty close to having my Aghanims and level 3 ultimate, which is going to be really strong. I mean, the 3,800 health Panda, Earth Panda, is just pretty ridiculous. Do manage to clap a little bit late there, but it works out in the end. Bounty Hunter doing some ridiculous stuff. Yes, they have a gem at this point, which really shouldn't be unexpected to eventually pick up a gem. It's an unlikely spot for them to have sentries, although it's possible that they put a sentry there. Anyway, I see that the Drow is fighting with Sven here mid, so I like, in a situation like that, you know, I just see the minimap. I don't actually see what's going on before I TP, just in order to make a reaction TP. And the last time Sven and Drow were fighting under one of our towers, it was not going so well for Sven, so I figured that, yeah, I should try to come help this guy out, which is why I TP'd there. But, yeah, would like to force another fight. Like I said, they do have Drow, who's a better carry than than our carry. Not that I am, but certainly a better carry than I am, but a better carry than Sven. So, especially with... Well, I still only have level 2 ultimate. It would be nice to get level 3 ultimate. Knoxville is going to TP out here, and he's just barely going to make it in time. Risky spot to TP, because I actually do have vision there from the creeps, but it ends up working out. There's really no way for us to defend that tower, since, unfortunately, I had just TP'd mid. I wouldn't be able to TP to that tower, even if I had to TP, because it would obviously be on cooldown, which would mean that, yeah, we really just couldn't mount an effective fight. So I'd get to top lane as quickly as possible and start putting some pressure here, so that they really can't effectively go for a tier 2 tower. And I have a regen rune bottled, so I'm just going to use it to, well, spam clap as much as possible. Otherwise, I might be a little bit more fastidious with my usage of clap. You can see that I have started to max out Drunken Haze now. I think this is probably sub-standard. Like I said, I think at this point in the game, most, like, you know, professional, really good Panda players would have just, like, maybe a couple points in Drunken Brawler, maybe 1 point in Haze, obviously max clap and max ultimate, and just a lot of stats. I certainly have less stats, and, well, I have died 4 times, so maybe that would be a little bit different, although I think most of my deaths were just because of my own stupidity. Sorry for the yawn. Woke up pretty early today. Anywho, just kind of hanging around here still. I don't know exactly what our plan is at this point. Well, I actually do know what our plan is, but I would like to... Yeah, you see, I actually just throw out Drunken Haze because I have regen there. Why not? It basically ends up being free, more or less. Not that it really does much. There's actually a bit of fighting going on mid, though, so I am actually going to try to run over there now. Unfortunately, even if I had a TP, I would be pretty far out from this fight. Fortunately, though, our Sven is coming in, and it's him trying to man up. I want to blink and try to get a clap on both these heroes to slow them down so that Sven can hit them, and that does actually successfully happen. So we do actually manage to kill one so far, which is the Rubik, and are going to chase after the Tide. I'm going to try to blink after the Tide here, and then throw Drunken Haze so that we can continue after him. If I can't blink on him, and immediately clap. So I do blink up here, and actually he's just within clap range, so I throw out the Haze anyway, just because that's what I wanted to do, but it's going to be alright. Because we get the kill on him, and I didn't need the Haze on the Venge since the Enchantress had a slow. So we do manage to pick up actually 3 kills there and only lose the Bounty Hunter. So we're actually learning the secret to basically playing with this bounty hunter, which is to just allow him to do ridiculous things and get himself caught and killed, and then counter-initiate on the opposing team. I am flying myself my Aghanims now. Obviously, I haven't used my ultimate yet, so I would really like to use my Aghanims, or get my Aghanims before I use my ultimate here. You can see we do have a Vlad's up. Vlad's is actually on the puck, who's playing a very supportish puck role. Otherwise, Vlad's would probably be the next item I go for, but unfortunately everyone's just stealing my auras. Like I said, Vlad and Drum being the most common, so unfortunately I have to go for, I guess, an AC next. Although really at this point I should just be making sure that I always have buyback money, just because buyback... I mean, even on Panda, who it's not super effective on, since obviously your ultimate's going to be done. Now that I have an Aghanim's ultimate, it's not the longest cooldown in the world. Actually, what I should be getting now is a gem. And there's actually a Slark here, but I guess he's just in Visrune, because otherwise, obviously, we would just see the cloud. They do actually glyph this tower, but we lose the vision from the orb and just go forward and clap the creeps. Which I don't have clap to initiate it on anyone now, but it looks like they're not going to defend this tower. You can see I actually do blink forward there and kind of into a position to clap, but unfortunately, you can't really do that. And we actually see the Slark initiating on us from behind. I do throw down to clap, but I'm thinking about whether I should ult here or not. And as soon as I see the tide blink in, I am going to ultimate. I am going to just finish off this Venge real quick first. Looking for someone to cyclone. Unfortunately, with only one target near me, I can't cyclone anyone, but as soon as I see that there's a Slark and a Drow, I am just going to cyclone one of them. In this case, the Slark, who's the more mobile and difficult to kill, and does less damage. And then focus down the Drow, and now I'm going to try to get this Rubik as well. I just cyclone him for a second so that I can get my stun back up, although then I miss micro just a little bit and don't stun him. Actually, I think the stun might have still been on cooldown a little bit, but I was just uncycloning him to bring him to my team. Unfortunately, Sven just, well, suicided into their base, because why not? Which is pretty difficult to do, considering that they only have a Slark and a Tide left, to actually manage to get killed by the two of them as the hard carry, especially as Sven, who's so difficult to kill. Really takes some trying. But like I said, I think that fight was a much better, obviously, example of kind of how to micro Panda. So you saw that, like, right away I didn't cyclone anyone. I probably had someone in range to cyclone, so I could have maybe done a little bit better. But was just really focused on basically killing the Venge as quickly as possible, which maybe wasn't as important as making sure that I got a Cyclone off. But then as soon as I turned back around, there's just the Drow there. Don't want to Cyclone her because, well, then we would have no one to focus, and I would have no one to focus. As soon as I see the Slark next to him, do Cyclone him to take one of the two out of the fight. And yeah, I guess I'm actually just buying wards now or something. I'm not really sure exactly what I was doing. I guess so. I think maybe I was just trying to be helpful. At this point, like I said, I don't have a ton of items that I really need. I have just, my Aghanims, level 3 Ultimate Blink, Arcane Boots, etc. So, without being... Oh yeah, no, I actually do go for a gem. Just counter-warding over here. Meanwhile, the Bounty Hunter doing what Bounty Hunter does. But yeah, the gem makes sense, obviously, because of Slark, and it'll just help us counter-ward. Unfortunately, their ward was actually up on their right cliff, which there was really no effective way for me to see. I could have blinked up there, but that puts me in a pretty exposed spot, especially if you consider that I don't have a TP. Which I probably should have. Should just get rid of my wand or my bottle. As far as whether you should get rid of a wand or a bottle, it's really a situation-by-situation basis. I think usually I prefer having a wand to a bottle, so I probably will get rid of my bottle before my wand. Especially since I have Arcane Boots, so I don't need the bottle that immensely to actually reach that mana. Oh man, sorry for the odds. There we go. You can see I'm actually not using well, I am just jungling here because I really don't have anything else to do. Well, maybe I have something else to do. I could go help the Puck. The Puck was just way too far forward and kind of got caught out and he's gonna die. I was running over to think about trying to save him, but it's not really gonna happen. But yeah, at this point, well, the problem is, so like Bounty was dead, so we couldn't really force this fight anymore. And now Puck is dead, so we can't really force a fight anymore. So basically it just leads me to farming, even though there's nothing that I'm specifically farming for. So I am going to run over to the side shop, though, because I know that they're pushing mid and I need to get TP. And, well, we're going to have to probably sacrifice the tier 2 tower. There's not really any way we can defend it without having Puck there. I mean, maybe with a Panda Ultimate and how strong Sven is at this point in the game, it would be feasible to possibly try to take a fight. Without having all 5, but it's just so risky. It's much better just to concede the tower, because like if we lose a fight right there, they could actually, like, even though, like I said, I'll have buyback, I won't have my Panda ultimate, so they could actually conceivably just walk into our base and, take racks. So it's just really important to be more safe, rather than conceding anything. And right about now in the game, obviously this is the one downside about doing VODs like this, is that you can't see all the interesting things that are actually said in team chat, or in team pinging. The Bounty Hunter is just pinging me profusely right now. And then pinging mid, etc. not really understanding that, of course, I plan on TPing if they come into our base, but, like, there's just no reason for me to be standing there doing nothing. Like, yeah, if I'm there, I could blink on them and initiate, but it's not necessarily a good idea for us to go charging out of our base to initiate on them. Because, like, yeah, I'm immune to Ravage, but the rest of my teammates are going to have to run past the Tide, who's going to be standing in the front anyway, and then they're going to get Ravaged. So it's really just better for me to just split push like this and apply pressure to a side tower and force someone to TP back, which is exactly what happens. And now, my team should probably have been in a slightly better position, although it's difficult because they don't really have any vision out here. But if they were in a slightly better position, then they could catch the opposing heroes when they flee. Although, yeah, it's pretty tough to do. I think, does the puck have a blink? Sorry. Yeah, puck does have a blink. So it would be possible, but not very easy. If we had a Disruptor, obviously, it would be much easier. You can see I am taking a lot of farm this game. You see, let's take a look at last hits again. Yeah, actually I am the highest last hits on my team, which should really absolutely never happen over Sven, who has a built-in cleave. But it's just that people are so bad at farming lanes. Like, this lane's just almost pushed to our tower, and, like, if you're with people you can communicate with, it's one thing, but when you're with just, like, random Sven, it's tough. Because, like, if you tell them to come take this lane, they'll be like, yeah, well, they actually won't say anything, but then they'll, like, maybe head over there 15 seconds later after they're done clearing out the jungle, and after, like, 8 of the opposing creeps have died to your tower, and your tower's taking 200 damage or something like that. So, yeah, it's just, in pubs it's always better to take it yourself if you can, which is why, well, everyone hates playing support in pubs, but it's why I especially hate playing support in pubs, because, as I've established previously in videos, I'm really obsessed with being efficient. You know, it's not efficient, this bounty hunter dying all the time. I would say, well, let's take a look at the graph. Yep, we are winning by a significant margin. Most of that thanks to that last fight in the mid, or maybe the last 2 fights in the mid, something like that. But at the same time, like I said, they do have a better late game, so we really can't just be throwing this. We should be team fighting, but again, it's so difficult to team fight when your bounty hunter is constantly dead. But it looks like there might be a team fight going on here bottom. I do TP in, hoping to help out. But looks like they're just going to back off the tower anyway, which makes this TP not maybe the most effective in the world, but it did prevent my teammates from being gone on, so it's probably worth it. Thinking about blinking on this drow now, but not really sure if it's the best plan ever. I'm sure that their team is just waiting right behind, as we actually do see there. So I do clap these creeps. When I clap the creeps, that basically is signifying that I'm not, I have no intention of actually going in. If I go in, I would like to blink clap. So yeah, we actually do see a Warden over here. Unfortunately, Sven does get gone on, so I'm just waiting so that I can blink, clap, and throw up my ultimate, which actually works just in time for the Ravage. They take Venge down immediately, and this time I am just going to kind of stand and fight well these BKB heroes while I throw the Drow up in the air so that she can't deal damage. Like I said, maybe not the most effective target ever. It would be better to throw this Slark up in the air, but Drow was a little bit more out of position while my team was actually fighting the Slark, so it just made more sense. So I'm going to Cyclone her up again. Obviously, you can use the Purge from the Panda, from the Air Panda to bring people down from this tornado. And now she just finally uses her BKB, which is definitely a little bit of a mistake there. And this actually I had wanted to kind of talk about this before, which is one of the reasons why I was cycloning her instead of throwing the Rocketer, and didn't want to throw the Rocketer that one time, because like I said, she's just going to BKB in response and then turn around and try to kill me. This is actually where I give up the Panda ultimate, which is really embarrassing. It was actually an Invis Rubik, which is, but still, I mean, yeah, not good. Not good at all. Obviously, he's not going to do anything with the Panda ultimate here. The problem is he has an Aghanim's Panda ultimate, so it's going to be up for the next fight, and that's really bad. Really, really bad, actually. Yeah, always just clap after your ultimates when you're playing against Rubik. Like I said, I did a good job of avoiding it whenever I saw him coming, but then it's just very easy just for even 1 second just to lapse and forget that he's actually there. So we are going to do a little bit of damage to this tower here. Both their carries, quote-unquote, are down. Slark not really a carry, but late game sources of damage are down. So I feel that we can pretty safely do a little bit of damage here. And I actually do clap in on this Venge here because I figure, well, we can probably just kill the Venge. I don't want to keep chasing the base, and we actually just use Slark coming up now, so I don't really think there's any possible way we can continue going on the base. Yeah, and so I'm going to get telekinesis in the air, and I'm just basically going to run away now. I'm just going to TP because I actually know they have nothing else that can interrupt the TP. There was a chance they had Ravage, but I thought it was pretty unlikely, and yeah, I'm not even sure if he would Ravage just to kill me. Like I said, I would have buyback, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And surprisingly, I have a ton of gold, so I actually going to buy an AC. You can see I'm clicking on Sun here, just to double check that he actually doesn't have an AC himself, but he went for a Daedalus intelligently enough. So I actually have enough money just to get my AC now. I should have actually bought the other parts on the courier before sending it to the secret shop. This is a mistake that I make quite frequently. I'm like, okay, well, I just need this item from the secret shop, and then I can buy everything else from the base. But why not just buy the items from the base and then send it to the secret shop? Although I guess actually in this instance it is excusable because I didn't have enough money yet, so I'd rather just get the Hyperstone and then hold the courier in the base with the Hyperstone on it. But we actually got a tower, bottom, I guess, I think is where the tower came from. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe bottom, could have been top too. And yeah, the tower was actually what gave me enough gold to finish off the AC. So I guess in this instance it is excusable. There had been... Oh yeah, so I was getting onto that point about the Drow just turning on me and why I didn't want to throw the rocket at her. Basically, you know, the tornado, it's instant, so while well, in this fight, she definitely should have used her BKB a little bit sooner, just because she's got to know that I can just tornado her instantly. But, like, she doesn't necessarily have the natural reaction to just BKB right away. But if she sees a rock coming at her, she's definitely going to BKB. But speaking of BKBs, I did blink in and just got my BKB off a little bit late, and actually I did get Ravage, which is kind of embarrassing. So I'm going to have to just throw out the Drunken Haze here. I'm just going to try fighting a little bit longer, but as soon as I see the Rubik and the Panda Ultimate, I realize it's probably time for me to Panda Ultimate as well. I do throw the rock at the Drow, and then I just Cyclone the Tide, just because there was really no one else convenient for me to Cyclone at the time. I could actually have purged the Bounty Hunter down. I didn't really think about that at the time. Not a situation that comes up very often, having to purge the opposing hero's Cyclones. I am trying to focus one of... Well, I'm not really sure who I'm trying to focus, but at this point I am just going to finish off his bench. I just Cycloned up and left my team to finish off at a slightly later time. But yeah, and basically... Well, the thing is, we could, in theory, maybe push in here, although we are missing our carry. But they have 2 down, but unfortunately the lanes are pretty pushed, so there's really no way that's going to happen. So instead that means it's time to go take Roche. Taking Roche is a little bit unfortunate, since, well, we've got Sven dead, and Bounty Hunter is, well, sorry for the yawning, you know, Bounty Hunter. And Panda, there's really no way I should be taking the Aegis. It's just not, even though Panda does have a scaling ability, he's really not a late game hero, or, I mean, in that sense, and the Aegis is just not effective since you're going to have used your ultimate beforehand. The Aegis will be pretty effective, however, on the Enchantress. Enchantress does a good amount of damage at this point in the game, especially with the Aghanims that she has. So it's actually pretty reasonable for her to get the Aegis. Unfortunately, yeah, the Bounty Hunter just basically dying some more, because that's what he does. I wonder what his score is. Well, not his score, but how many times he's died is what I'm interested in. 7. Well, Sven has actually died 8, so I guess the 7 deaths isn't that shocking, but the fact that he's, you know, 4-7-2, he's actually only been involved in 6 of our 31 kills. I guess because most of the times we've been fighting has been after he's been dead. And that's not because we're asshole teammates, it's, well, mostly just him. There's a haste here, unfortunately I can't bottle it, but might as well just grab it and look to dick around some more maybe. Do see a bunch of people mid, which I kind of like to go on. Basically what I'm hoping for is just that 1 or 2 of them will run up here, specifically 1 of them. But then I actually see all this and realize, yeah, this has been a bit of a mistake, and Sven is actually probably going to pay for it, but Sven actually decides to basically just man up on these guys. I'm just waiting for my ultimate to, or silence to come off, and then I do throw the rocket Rubik first. Don't actually have anyone here to really just silence effectively, so I'm just kind of right-clicking on people with these pandas, and yeah, I want to silence or do something there, but can't really happen. And yeah, not anyone else really going to get caught here. So I wanted to actually take a second to actually talk about the things you should do with the pandas. Generally speaking, when you go your Panda Ultimate, obviously your first reaction, since the Earth Panda is going to be auto-selected anyway, is to throw a rock at someone. Then usually you want to Cyclone a secondary target, someone who's not very important. Actually blink over here really aggressively. But we've got the Enchantress plus Sven, they just do so much damage it's probably worth it. Although the Drow is actually going to man up. Unfortunately, this is a rather not very effective Ghost Scepter. It actually just buys the Drow a little bit of time, but we do still manage to get the kill on him anyway. Not Ghost Scepter, but I mean Hero Blade. And fortunately, I am getting earned now. I'm going to throw the Drunken Haze out again, come over to try to get a clap in a second or so. Do have the gem, so he's not really getting away that effectively, but, well, he's still getting either way. But we're just going to take the Rex anyway. So yeah, throw the rock, tornado, a secondary target, someone who can, usually you want to take out someone who's a significant source of DPS, or if it's someone like a Panda who hasn't, I'm not a Panda, a Tide who hasn't gotten his ult off yet, then it could actually be worth it as well. Yeah, and then basically, also when you're trying to DPS people down, using the Windwalk, which is the E on the Ghost Panda, certainly the Wind Panda certainly helps. I'm not sure how frequently I did that this game. Probably not very often at all. Sometimes I do it pretty well, other times, well, not so much. But anyway, I do have an AC, which I didn't really talk about, but I mean, I kind of addressed this earlier on. Basically, aura items good on Panda, and aura item plus tanky item doubly good. I'm just going to die here. It is going to actually be a Ravage. Well, it should be just for me, but my team's actually still there as well, because they think that I'm a nice guy and they don't want to abandon me. And then there's the Bounty Hunter, doing what he does, which is barely dying. Don't think he's going to make it out of here. Nope, he's dead. So yeah. I guess I just bought another gem, because, well, having a gem is pretty important against Slark, and I don't have a lot of items that are that important. Also, I'm not 100%, but I'm about 98% sure on this. That, you know, the Panda Ultimate copies do carry the gem, I believe, and that makes him a very effective gem carrier. And even if they don't necessarily carry the gem, which like I said, only about 98% sure of that, Panda's very difficult to kill because of his ultimate, obviously, so having a gem on him is pretty reasonable. So yeah, I'm just going to carry the gem. Also, like I said, just don't have anything else to buy. I think I bought some... I'm not sure if I bought the Observer Wards there or not. I'm pressing buttons and it's not doing anything. Who knows? I could change from player's perspective, but I'm not sure that's that important. After all, this is supposed to be a first-person VOD, right? Something like that. But yeah, so I'm just going to wait till I'm back up here, and then we're probably going to go try to push another lane and end it. Hopefully the puck won't get caught out here, but no, I think he should be just fine. Just phase shift that, and he can just blink away now if he needs to. Could have just blinked in response to the first attack anyway. God, I'm so sorry for yawning so much. It's really unprofessional. Although this isn't professional anyway, since I am obviously not getting paid to do this. But yeah, I really shouldn't be yawning in the middle of one of these. Maybe I should avoid doing these one day. Well, it's not just that I got up early this morning, but it's also that it's just such a gloomy day out. Although it's basically always gloomy days this time of year in Paris, so, well, that's not really news. Anywho, should try to go end this game in some reasonable fashion here. I mean, like I said, I think we have a pretty significant advantage now, thanks to the last couple team fights. And yeah, the puck is actually going to catch this bench here, warding. Probably should just be able to kill, but unfortunately well, no, yeah, actually that works just fine. Tide could have ravaged right away, and maybe the Sven would have gotten caught with it, but Tide actually didn't ravage right away. I do blink in, and I'm able to clap, and my gem is going to make the Slark really easy to kill, and then basically just going to run after these people. I don't know why, maybe she already used the BKB and it just wasn't very effective, but I throw the stone at her while I tried to cycle on the Rubik. Wasn't actually sure that I caught the Rubik with the Cyclone, but surely enough I do, so then I can bring him down, even a little bit before the boulder tosses off, just because there's enough teammates there, there's really no way he's getting out of it. And yeah, just going to head towards top now and try to end this game. That was another 5-for-1. Sven dying a lot, but he's really doing what he's supposed to, which is that he's manning up. Now, part of the reason he's dying a lot is because he did go the Mask of Madness build, and they have a lot of right-click damage. Well, not a lot, but I mean, they have Drow, who does a lot. And therefore, I mean, it's reasonable to expect him to die. But at the same time, he's doing so much damage before he dies, or creating so much panic in the enemy team, running away from BKB'd Mask of Madness Ultimate Sven, that it's really not that big of a deal. But anyway, that's pretty much the game. We could have gone straight for Throne there, but generally speaking, I prefer to take at least one more lane of racks before going for Throne. First of all, because it just makes it easier to Throne by having more space in the base. And second of all, it just makes it a little bit more foolproof, because if it should happen such that your throning fails and you didn't take any additional racks, you're actually maybe in the worse off position than you were before, because you would have basically all just died in their base, obviously, in order for it not to have worked. But as long as you take one more set of racks, you're up by 2 racks, which is pretty difficult to come back from, especially when we have such a big gold lead. So yeah, that is going to be the game. I realized that it wasn't the most amazing game ever, but I mean, well, I figured that it was a relatively even game, and it was 43-33 in the end. And although that wasn't exactly what I was counting on, but I kind of remember this game going a little bit longer and being a little bit more even. But then again, I just didn't do anything too super effective. The problem is it's not very easy to talk about exactly what to do with the Panda Ultimate, because it's so situation by situation. I guess I could do play-by-play cast of it next time if I ever have to do Panda again. So I guess this maybe wasn't the most effective Panda video ever, but like I said, I am a little bit rusty since I haven't made a video in a little while, and I didn't make a video in a little while because I've been sick and busy with family, so I'm just going to try to get back into it, and this will be the one to ease in. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to make another video for you quite soon.